All right, let's jump right into this. We are living in a world where massive, trillion-dollar AI-driven algorithms are practically fighting a war for your attention. I mean, from the exact moment you wake up to the second you fall asleep, your focus is constantly being hijacked. But what if the ultimate antidote to all this overwhelming modern noise is actually a 2,500-year-old blueprint? Today, we are diving straight into a fascinating explainer based on insights derived directly from the Mahāsatipaṭṭhāna Sutta. And let me tell you, this isn't just some abstract philosophy. It's a highly systematic, absolutely foolproof manual for hacking your own consciousness and taking your focus back.
Right out of the gate, this text absolutely does not mince words. It makes this incredibly bold declaration, stating, "This is the one-way path for the purification of beings, for the overcoming of sorrow and lamentation, for the destruction of suffering." It establishes right from the start that this is a guaranteed, direct path to absolute peace. I mean, that is a massive claim, right? It's basically promising a foolproof cure for the human condition, provided you follow the exact instructions we're about to unpack.
So, to navigate this highly structured ancient manual, we are going to follow this clear roadmap. We'll start with the path to peace in the AI era, then break down the four foundations step by step: body, feelings, mind, and dhammas. And finally, we'll wrap up with the conclusion and the astonishing results you can expect.
Let's start with Section 1, the path to peace in the AI era, an ancient blueprint for modern chaos. Just think about your average day for a second. The constant pings, the incoming emails, the endless doom scrolling. Our modern world literally operates on algorithms designed to capture and commodify your attention. But this ancient text offers a completely different algorithm. It provides the ultimate mental framework designed not to trap you, but to filter out those external distractions and completely free up your attention. Moving right along to Section 2, the first foundation, the body, or Kaya-nupassana. This is where the actual work begins, grounding our chaotic minds by using the most physical layer of our experience, our breath and our posture.
Have you ever actually tried forcing yourself to breathe perfectly? It usually just makes you more anxious, doesn't it? Well, the text brilliantly illustrates the practice using this vivid metaphor. It compares breathing to a skilled lathe operator. Just like that operator knows exactly when they're pulling a long string or a short string to shape wood, you, the practitioner, know exactly when your breath is long or short. You aren't forcing deep, perfect breaths. You are simply observing the natural rhythm of your breathing with absolute, unbroken precision.
Going a bit deeper, the framework asks us to look at our anatomy without any attachment. Imagine a sack filled with mixed grains, and a clear-eyed person opens it and just sorts the items. Okay, this is rice, this is beans, this is sesame. We spend so much time today obsessing over our physical appearance, right? The filters, the vanity, the constant comparisons. But here, in the exact same way as sorting grain, we're instructed to look at our body. Hair, teeth, skin, bones, just as biological components. No vanity, no disgust, just objective observation.
Now, the crucial point here is absolute detachment. There's this really striking analogy where the text asks us to view the body like a butcher who has divided a cow at a crossroads. The butcher no longer sees a cow, they just see the individual cuts of meat. In the same way, we're told to slice away our personal identity from our physical form and observe it merely as raw physics: earth, water, fire, and wind. It completely breaks down the illusion of me.
Okay, keeping that calm, highly scientific mindset. The text then takes us through the cemetery contemplations. It walks right through the natural decay of the body, starting swollen and discolored, to being eaten by animals, down to a skeleton, then scattered white bones, and finally reduced to dust. Look, I know that sounds incredibly intense for a Tuesday afternoon, but it isn't meant to be morbid. It's the ultimate reality check, objectively noting that this body too is of the same nature. It shatters our clinging to our physical forms. Which brings us to Section 3, the second foundation, feelings, or Vedānupassana. Let's peel back a layer and move from the gross physical body to the subtle observation of our emotional reactions. By comparing these dualities side by side, we see how mindfulness treats contrasting feelings just like passing weather. The text tells us to observe when a feeling is pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, and critically, whether it carries any worldly attachment. Let's say you get a spike of dopamine from a social media like, and you desperately want more. That is a pleasant feeling with worldly attachment. The key? You don't cling to the good feelings, and you don't fight the bad ones. You just recognize them without any judgment whatsoever. Next up is Section 4, the third foundation, mind or Chittanupassana. We're zooming in even further now, analyzing the actual cognitive state of the mind itself,
as it processes the world around us.
The framework continues pairing these opposites to teach what it calls bare knowledge. It instructs us to simply observe if our mind has lust or is free from it, if it has anger or is free from it. The trick is doing this without getting swept away by the narrative. If you're angry, you don't say, "I'm so mad because my boss sent me this ridiculous email." You literally just note, the mind currently contains anger. It's a subtle shift, but wow, is it a game changer for creating instant distance between you and the emotion.
And finally, Section 5, the fourth foundation, Dhammas, or Dhammanupassana. This is the most abstract foundation, unpacking the core mechanics of human psychology and the very root of our suffering. The text identifies 5 specific mental roadblocks here: sensual desire, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry, and doubt. And it explains that we've got to do more than just notice them. We have to watch them arise, watch them fade, and crucially, learn how to prevent them from coming back. Think of sloth as that overwhelming urge to doom scroll on the couch for 3 hours, or restlessness as your crushing Sunday evening anxiety. These are literally the viruses in your mental operating system, and we need to actively quarantine them.
But you don't just leave a vacuum behind in your mind. Once those hindrances are cleared, we actively cultivate these 7 positive factors of awakening: mindfulness, investigation, energy, joy, tranquility, concentration, and equanimity. This is absolutely crucial. By nurturing these states, we build an unshakable mental clarity that protects us from whatever external noise the modern world throws our way. And that brings us to the climax of this whole explainer, the 4 Noble Truths. This is the ultimate synthesis of the text, offering a structured, logical sequence out of our suffering. Think of it like a medical diagnosis. First, you diagnose the illness, the reality of suffering. Second, you identify the exact origin, our cravings. Third, you get the prognosis, the realization that suffering can actually cease. And finally, the text prescribes the exact medicine, the Noble Eightfold Path. It's literally a step-by-step prescription for the human soul. Let's look at this quote. Mindfulness is established just to the extent necessary for bare knowledge and continuous mindfulness, and one abides independent, not clinging to anything in the world. I really want to pause on this for a second. This rhythmic refrain pops up beautifully at the end of every single section we just covered. It perfectly encapsulates the goal. You establish mindfulness just enough to know what is actually happening in reality, so that you can remain entirely independent, unbothered, and utterly free from clinging to a single thing.
All right, Section 6, Conclusion and Results, the ultimate guarantee. We've covered the framework, but what's truly mind-blowing is the highly specific promise the text makes right at the very end.
The text actually guarantees that if anyone meticulously practices this blueprint exactly as described, they will achieve liberation in a dramatically decreasing timeline. It says you'll see results in 7 years, but then it drops down to 1 year, then to 7 months, then 1 month, and it zooms all the way down to a staggering guarantee of total mental liberation in just 7 days. I mean, that is the sheer compounding power of this direct path. So, as we wrap this up, we are living in an age where trillion-dollar tech forces are literally engineered to distract you. But the supreme technology to completely master your own mind and find perfect peace, it's existed for over 2 millennia. The blueprint is right here. So the real question is, are you ready to apply it for the next 7 days?